Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to CawTalk episode 7. I know it's been a while and I apologise for that, but my guest today is a part of Chew1 Pro, Valiant and Redemption. As always, link to their socials in the description below. He's the Three Lions Prestige Champion. It's now a medal. Ladies and gentlemen, there's only one MK1. It's Michael Kelly. First of all, it's an honour to have you on the show.
It's good to be here.
Much like our first guest in 10 this year, Nathan Roberts, you're a little bit older than the rest of the guys that we've had on the show. So my first question is, what's it like for you being an older guy, like, in today's, like, industry?
I mean, to be completely honest with you, age doesn't really have anything to do with it, but a part of it is all about experience.
Yeah.
I've been wrestling for like 20 years, 17 in professional wrestling, and the rest in high school and like college.
Yeah.
And again, like I said, it's experience. I have more experience than all the newer people, but yet that doesn't stop them.
Do you find it difficult sometimes, like, getting places on the cards?
Yeah, like, let's be real. Ever since I transitioned back to a more technical catch wrestling style, I haven't been able to reach the cards that I wanted to get on.
Yeah.
And all because I have to adapt to other people, but they can't adapt to me.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
So, with that in mind, I think it's still safe to say that this year's been probably one of the best of your career, even managing to get your first taste of gold. What was that like?
It was something. And I honestly, like, I'll tell you a quick story. Like 2 years ago, before I went on this hiatus, I was a part of Rise Pro Wrestling, and I had this title match. And I'm sure everyone knows that feeling when they had gold at the tip of their fingers and it just fumbles.
Yeah.
And that feeling is just gut-wrenching. And that's like one part of why I left. So when I finally got the opportunity and I seized the moment and I finally got gold in my hands, it was an overwhelming moment. I had to sit there and hold back tears while I was out there, just because the UK crowd is so, like, brutal at times.
Yeah, definitely.
And I gotta show that I'm like this, I'm this strong guy. But as soon as I went back, I had my wife and my child with me, and my son's like 12 years old. And he was there. And it was a great moment, honestly. So it was gut-wrenching, it was heartwarming, everything.
So to finally be around, like, to be around so long and finally get the shot and the recognition that comes with being a champion, that must feel amazing.
Yeah. It finally, it took too long, but at the same time, you have to trust the process and understand that your time's gonna come.
Yeah.
It may not be right away, but it's gonna come.
So, what made you turn the title belt into a medal?
It's what I know.
Makes sense.
I have two Olympic gold medals, and a lot of the stuff that I earned in college were medals and trophies. And I got tired of I was chasing a belt more than I was chasing a trophy.
Yeah.
A belt can be thrown around here and there. I wanted something that was more personal, but then also it's a intimidating factor because my opponents have to look me in the eye when they're telling me that they want to take it off my neck.
Yeah. So, your introduction to wrestling was somewhat of a busy one, juggling wrestling with college and full-time work. This alone is insane, but you was only 19 at the time. How did you do it all?
It's a struggle, man, because on top of juggling school and work, I had a relationship.
Yeah.
And my girlfriend, who is my wife now, stuck by me throughout the whole entire experience. She was honestly the motivation. And hands down, like, I was able to make time for all that because she would go to all the trainings with me. She'd go to all the shows I had to do setups for. Most women would get mad because we couldn't do intimate stuff. But I feel like she understood and she had her own goals that she was achieving on the side, but she wanted to see me strive more.
So we fast forward 2 years, and you're now 21 years old, and you join the TPP development program. You learned everything you need to know, from both in front of the camera and behind it. What was that like for you? What was the experience like? What did you go through?
It was crazy, man, and I do have to appreciate Kyle Bradley, my head trainer, and I do appreciate Die Hard, the owner of TPP, for giving me the opportunity to be a part of the developmental program.
Yeah.
No one really knows that Kyle Bradley gave up a world title opportunity to get me into the developmental.
Mm.
And that, that's a crazy thing, that my own trainer saw something in me that no one else saw.
Now, so
learning.
You carry on.
Yeah. A lot of the stuff that I learned is stuff that I took along with me later on, and I tell to a lot of people because it's what I know. It's how the business has always been running. Things change now, but things are still kind of the same.
So, speaking of Kyle Bradley, very, very old school. The fact that, like, his nickname was the Bear should just be indication of how intimidating he must have been. See, a lot of guys aren't fully aware of this, but training back then wasn't as fun as it is now. Like,
oh hell no.
What was it like seeing how the environment of how wrestlers train has changed, like, along with wrestling?
It's more lenient now.
Yeah. To me, it feels like it's softer.
Yeah.
Like, as wrestling became a lot less smash mouth, so did the training.
Yeah. And that's the fact of everything going PC.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
And
health and safety.
Back then, I fuck up on a spot, I get chopped from the corner by everybody.
Everyone get to go on that chest.
I get put in bear hugs. And, like, I have grit because I wrestled in high school, and then on top of that, doing it in college. But, like, you get chopped by 20 people in a row, it just takes a toll on you. I've been busted open, like, 5 times just because I couldn't get something right.
Yeah. So
you really had to be on top of your shit.
Oh, definitely. So, speaking of training, you've gone from that style of training to now you train people over at the UWC. How did that come about? Like, what inspired you to begin training the next generation?
My dad. Funny story, Tim Fournette, the gracious Tim Fournette, told me a story about how my father was a professional wrestler. And I went on, many years thinking that my dad was an Olympic gold medalist with my mom in figure skating, ironically. And it was kind of something that I didn't know for like 30 years of my life. I didn't know.
Yeah.
Well, he and I haven't talked to him in a while. But he surprised me with a visit, and I always love seeing my mom, and I'm kind of like slowly getting back that relationship with my dad. He says, I want to talk to you. So we go in my office, and, he says, oh, I'm in town for a meeting, and I want you to be a part of it. And I'm thinking, it's another Gibbers quick scheme, everything like that. I don't want to be a part of it. He then mentions that he's doing a wrestling organization, which is the UWC, and he wants to start training people And immediately I knew that was something I wanted to do,
Mm.
and just ran with it. I knew what people I wanted to be a part of it, and everything just kind of skyrocketed from there.
So, in a dream scenario, what would you achieve from it?
Just kind of bring back legitimacy to wrestling.
Yeah.
More so, getting more people in the business so we're not seeing the same people over and over again.
Add diversity to the industry.
Yeah, diversity to the industry, giving more opportunities to people that may have not gotten it, like how I have.
Yeah, you definitely, because from what I hear, from a mix of the trainers, there's a lot of connections there to other places. Like,
Yeah.
you've got ties to Victory, to Valiant, to True One Pro, to Redemption. So
It's everywhere.
it's definitely a good idea.
And the thing about it is how can you promote a well-efficient industry when you are not practicing it?
Yeah.
And that's the big thing is practicing, getting the industry back into a place where there's nothing wrong with territories, but there's also nothing wrong with having people come in and doing their thing just so they can get to the next place.
Yeah.
We're more so a stepping stone than we are placement.
Yeah.
We don't want people to stay for so long. We want people to branch out and be great.
Just give people that first little bit of confidence that they can achieve in wrestling.
Yes.
And that it's not impossible. All you gotta do is have determination.
Exactly.
So you've mentioned high school and college and sports. So a lot of wrestlers compete in numerous different sports. So what did you do?
I did football, baseball, lacrosse, volleyball. I did recreational dodgeball.
Busy.
I did a lot of stuff growing up. Yeah, like my family kept me busy when it came down to athletics, and I've always been in great shape. Never was I like a slouch. Never did I fall victim to childhood obesity just because I was so active.
Yeah. So you've mentioned earlier on that you were an Olympian. So what was the training like for that, and winning the medal? Like, nothing can compare to that, surely.
The electricity and the intensity of the moment. It's so much more than winning a belt in wrestling, because obviously we all know, like, we usually kind of go in and we know we're going to win the belt. When it comes down to the Olympics, you got to be on top of your game, and you got to really be on top of everything. As soon as you win, you hear everybody screaming, yelling. It's fucking amazing.
Oh, I bet.
That moment will never leave my memory whatsoever.
So the transition from Olympic wrestler, like an amateur wrestler, what made you want to be a professional wrestler?
I remember watching pro wrestling with my dad growing up. You know, just a young kid, we'd watch a lot of, you know, the golden era of wrestling, and ever since then, I just kind of knew that I wanted to go in a good direction.
Yeah.
And the fact of doing wrestling in high school just helped it so much more.
So, tell me about the journey then. So, going from it, like, what did you have to do? Like, did people come to you, or did you have to go to people?
I had to go to people. It's one of those things you can't just sit around and think something's gonna fall on your lap.
Oh yeah.
Because it's not like that. I went around so many different promotions, so many different companies, so many different trainers trying to figure out where should I go, being turned away by 5 promotions around my college area, and only getting taken by Kyle DeBray or Bradley because, quote unquote, to other promoters, he's more lenient. I guess you can say. Even with a high school wrestling background and college, it doesn't make sense why you would not want to bring in someone like that.
Oh, without a doubt. So, I've mentioned previously places like True One. So you signed with them. You signed with Redemption, both in different countries. If you could wrestle in any country, where would it be?
Australia.
Is there a particular reason, or?
I haven't touched down in Australia yet.
Fair enough.
And I feel that there are some great people out there that want an opportunity to go up against, if not me, the other great people in the industry. I'm not sure why we haven't branched out more in Australia.
I mean, I can't disagree with that. I feel like it's very untouched in the industry right now.
Yeah.
At least like a decent tour, I feel would be a good place for the community to go with it.
Just something. Because everybody goes to Japan, and there's nothing wrong with Japan. Like, we all love Japan.
No, True One Pro is an amazing company.
Oh, hands down. I hadn't been back into Japan in years, and when I finally got the opportunity to be a part of a show such as True One, I took the opportunity and I ran with it.
So, what's your long-term goal, like your career goal? Like, if you could have achieved anything before you retire, what would it be?
I want to face Alexander Monroe in front of thousands of people. Because in the Indies, me and him faced off in a small, tiny little match. Back then, you know, when you went up against a big star, you were either getting squashed or you were just putting someone over. And it sure as hell wasn't a squash match, but I felt every inch of pain throughout that match, and I would definitely do it again in a heartbeat.
Who do you hang around with backstage, and like who do you travel with?
So I hang out with Robert Martyr a lot, who is a fucking workhorse.
Oh, he really is.
Bless that man. And I kind of have connections with Gerard Bowden, and it's more of a mutual respect more than it's hanging out.
Yeah, I get that.
It's more like, okay, when I'm around him, you know, I'm like, hey, how's it going? Shake your hand, keep going.
Yeah.
I hang out with Jay Turner a lot. You know, just because of UWC.
Yeah.
Very, very talented man. Stiff hits, you know, best way to do it.
Yeah, I gotta agree there.
I've hung out with Adam Rain a few times. That guy's pretty fucking scary.
I've never met him personally.
I'm a dangerous guy myself, but like he's a scary dude at times.
Yeah, from some of the stuff I've seen of his, it's quite intense.
I mean, he ripped the guy's ears off.
Yeah,
I mean,
that'll do it.
I'm crazy, but I would never rip someone's ears off.
And see, the worst thing about that is it wasn't even to send a message to the guy whose ears he ripped off. It was to send a message to somebody else.
Like, what kind of sadistic fuck do you have to be?
I mean,
to send a message to somebody by attacking someone that has no relation to that person.
I mean, even he had no reason to go to America either. Like he could have just stayed in Japan. Although I do have to I do say the line that he did afterwards is comedic gold. He comes up to the camera and he says, "Do you hear me now, Okami?"
Like, I mean, wonderful play on words. I mean, wonderful play on words. But it's like, man, like it's crazy.
So, being in the industry for so long, you must have some good stories from on the road, right? I mean, don't incriminate anybody because I know what your wrestlers can be like on the road, but there must be one really good one.
I mean, it's hit and miss, and you said don't incriminate my guys, so I definitely can't do that. I'll tell you a developmental story. It is pretty crazy. Um, I was in, like I said, in developmental. It was me, James Anderson, George Phillips, and Terrell Simmons. We were all kind of on our way out to the next city that we had to go to for a TPV.
Mm.
So we're all getting ready. Stop by at a bar. And we're all having a few drinks and everything. Terrell is like, oh, hey, there's this fine ass girl over there. Y'all should go talk to her. I'm already in a committed relationship. I ain't gonna do none of that. George wasn't really having it either. James was like, nah, I'm just kind of chilling. So Terrell was like, all right, whatever, I'll go over there. So, he's talking to his girl, and he's trying to play up the highball. Yeah, I'm a pro wrestler. And back then, that was the thing that really got women going. Like,
Yeah.
oh, like this is a wrestler. It's just like not to mention like we're developmental. She doesn't know that we're big stars, but like we're just developmental guys. So he basically, they're chatting it up. They're making out a little bit. So he's like, all right, cool. I'll go to the car real quick. I'm like, all right, say no more. He smashes her, whatever. We get on our way going down to the CBB. He sees that same chick, and she's backstage. And I'm like, man, like, what is she doing here? And I'm thinking, my first initial thought was that she's just one of those groupies. She's just gonna come around, yeah, ring rat, yeah. Come to find out, it was the commentator, Christopher Billings' wife.
Oh, no way.
Yeah. the amount of stupidity that we all felt, just for the simple fact that we should have known. But at the same time, the fact that Billings ended up, was all like, happy. He was happy that, his wife was there. He was happy that, oh, guys, this is my wife. Kissing up on her, not knowing that she had fucked up on Terrell.
Oh, no way. Oh,
and it's one of those things, because as soon as Billings found out, Terrell was already on his way out to go somewhere else. But you can imagine if he would have found out while Terrell was still employed.
Yeah.
What could have happened?
So, we've heard about your wrestlers. Now, I've got a couple of questions from them. I've got 3 questions here, and we'll start with Jay Turner. How does it feel knowing that you're quite literally training the next generation of wrestling?
It's scary.
Like, you think, like, 5 years time, a full card could be people trained by you.
Yeah, it's scary because everything that I do reflects on them. Everything that I teach them reflects on them. You look at Eric Keegan, who was one of my top prospects before UWC, before anything, and like he gave up an Ivy League scholarship to wrestle and lived in a shed behind a wrestling promotion that I happened to buy out just so I had a place to train.
Yeah.
And now, if you saw Redemption's first episode, he went through 3 matches in one night, got his arm snapped, and he was ready to fight the next day.
Exactly. That's
like,
pure passion.
Pure passion. And again, like, I trained him.
Yeah.
Everything that I taught him was what I was taught. in this industry. And it's the fact that like I'm still being safe with it, but I'm also like giving him the opportunity to know that back then, this is what made wrestlers.
Yeah.
Like we're not superstars, we're wrestlers.
Right.
So when it comes down to the next generation, I hope that they make an impact.
Yeah. And from Max Halton, how come you wasn't on Rookies vs. Veterans 2?
I'm overlooked.
I'd agree.
It's been like that for years, and you know, I saw the card, and I just kind of, to my personal belief, I could have made an amazing match on that card.
I agreed without a doubt.
But I mean, maybe next time.
Or if there's ever a Rookies vs. Veterans 3, if the creators are listening, then take the advice. Okay, from TJ Stark, what's the best moment of your career so far?
I think the best moment of my career was beating Gerard Bowden twice in one night. I mean, it's the honest truth.
He's honestly, for his age, he's impeccable.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. You know, if he's not, you know, one of the greatest wrestlers I'd ever faced, he sure as hell is damn close.
So I've got some quick fire questions here. So, favorite food?
Favorite food? I'm a big fan of burgers.
Favorite movie?
You know, that's a tough one. I'll tell you that right now. Favorite movie would have to be, I'd say What If.
A song that you're currently obsessed with?
I'm obsessed with Target by YBN Cordae.
If you could be any celebrity for a day, who would it be?
Any celebrity for a day, I would be Tyler, the Creator.
Your favorite singer?
Favorite singer? I have to go with L.
A singer that you can't stand?
Singer that I cannot stand. Dua Lipa.
And dream job as a child?
Dream job as a child. Actor.
So finally, who would you least want to have a bar fight with?
Least one. Oh man. Bas Rutten.
That's a good answer. So, which shows do you enjoy watching, and what show do you think is going to have their time to shine in the upcoming future?
When it comes down to shows, I watch True One, I watch Future, I watch pretty much anything that Alex Strider puts out.
Oh, he's great.
Yeah, as far as anything that's going to get over in the future, it's definitely going to be anything that Strider does. Hands down, his production, all the stuff he puts out is amazing. And the fact that nobody takes a chance to watch it makes no sense to me.
So, my favourite part of the show, give me 5 wrestlers that you think are underrated and 5 that you think are overrated.
And, you know, these questions are always like so touchy because some people don't really know how to
Yeah, it's got to the point where now I have to say this. For the record, anybody watching, this doesn't mean that he wants to start beef with you. It doesn't mean that he thinks he's better than you. This is just a bit of fun. Please don't get too butthurt. So we'll start with the underrated.
Underrated guys.
So number 5.
Number 5, that's gonna be Kraus. Mike Kraus.
Oh yeah, he's great.
Yeah, he's impeccable, very hard hitting. He's part of the Hammerstein family, married to Rebecca Hammerstein.
Number 4.
Number 4 is gonna be Jay Turner.
I'd definitely agree there. Number 3.
Number 3 is, no surprise, Gerard Bowden.
Number 2.
Robert Martyr.
And finally, the most underrated person in wrestling today.
Alex Strider.
Oh, that's a brilliant 5 there. But now, the favourite part. Give me 5 wrestlers that you think are overrated. 5 being the least overrated. Number 1 being the most overrated. Number 5.
Number 5. Man, and it never gets easy when it gets to that point you're like, oh man. And I try not to stir the pot or anything, so people that are listening, don't take this as me hating on you like we mentioned before. This is just my personal opinion. Joshua Phoenix.
He's on a lot of these lists actually.
I mean, he's a great guy.
Oh, he is.
He's a great guy.
Oh, he's impeccable.
Me and him used to train together years ago. But man, like in the sense of him being overrated, it's in a good way that he's overrated because he was one of those guys. I think kind of wasn't in the spotlight back then. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's definitely he's like the main event guy, and sometimes it feels like people think he's the only wrestler that can do submissions these days, and when they're looking for a wrestler that's got a great submission style, they'll just automatically go to him. But he is a total package.
Don't get me wrong, the man is, he's the total package.
So number 4.
Number 4 is going to be Keo.
Ooh, he sometimes appears on this list actually. Again, a really talented wrestler.
Again, another great wrestler, and congratulations to him for winning the Freedom title.
Oh yeah.
Just in my personal opinion, just the stuff that I've seen from him, he to me he's overrated. And again, doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad thing.
Number 3.
Number 3, I'd have to say TJ Ray.
Yes, and double yes. Number 2.
And I'm not number 2. That's going to be Everett Costanelli.
I'd personally put him probably at my number 1, but we had him on the show not long ago. He's alright.
Yeah. No, he's alright, but
a bit of an ego.
Yeah, he gets under people's skin.
Number 1.
Number 1.
The most overrated person, in your opinion.
Overrated person. In my honest opinion. No disrespect. Nick Virtue.
Oh, okay. That's a big one.
Bless the man. No, bless the man. He is everything that is this industry.
He's definitely that one person that can, without a doubt, say they've reached that tier that is undoubtedly above everyone.
And again, I feel honestly this list, please don't take it the wrong way.
Oh, yeah.
All list of great guys. Don't get me wrong, great guys. But when you look at the appeal, the actual fan eyes, the actual management,
So, before we wrap it up, one final question. If you could change anything in the wrestling business, what would it be and why?
When it comes down to one thing, I think this all ties everything that I have is going to tie into one thing, and that's continuity.
Yeah, that's definitely a big
I
one.
feel that shows are always going to show the greatest highlight instead of how they started.
Yeah.
I feel every single show needs to start out small before they make it big. Budget wise, you're gonna save yourself a lot of money.
Oh yeah, I've seen so many
You're not
shows,
gonna exceed over labor.
and they don't have to
Because
give
when you
away
really
free
think about
tickets.
it, yeah, like I honestly believe if you start small, you're gonna be able to pay your wrestlers a little more, but then also have that money to expand when you really need to.
I think an over-reliance on bigger names is a bit of an issue these days.
You know, and again, like I said, continuity, I think these big names are going to all these different shows, and there's nothing wrong with it. But what is making them so special on show A than show B?
It oversaturates the character to the point where they don't really become, to me, they seem less of a big name because of how often you see them.
Yeah.
You look at names like...
Perfect example, why be a champion for 3 shows? And what does that mean though?
Yeah, like all it does is devalue each title.
And this is why territories kind of need to be a thing.
Yeah, you look at names like Okami. He's built himself up by staying very under the radar when it comes to overbooking. He's seen a little bit more nowadays than before, but he is definitely one of the type of person where more people should aspire to be like. You don't need to be on like wrestling 5 different shows a month. Like you can make a name for yourself and establish yourself in one place, and that means so much more.
You know, and that's the thing. I've cut ties with a lot of shows for the simple fact that I don't want to be on a lot of shows.
Yeah.
I want to be on shows at least one in every country.
That would be
1 or 2
that would be
in
ideal.
America, then the rest. You know, 1 in Japan, 1 in the UK, 1 in Mexico. You know, that's a possibility. 1 in Australia. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
It's an exclusivity. Like people that become exclusive to shows. At first, I was kind of like, you know, it's stupid. But then later on, once you start booking your own stuff and you start training different guys, you just kind of figure out that most people are best with 1 company than with 7.
Yeah. So, it really has been a pleasure to have you on the show today. It was great getting to know you, and I just want to wish you the best of luck in your future. Thank you for coming on, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, if you enjoyed this episode, please support us with a thumbs up and a share. Subscribe for more interviews just like this one. You can support our partners by subscribing to their channels and or following them on Twitter. Here's the links below. True One Pro at T1P Front Office. Redemption Pro at Redemptions Pro. UWC at UWC Worldwide. As always, thank you for watching, and until next time, peace.